I'm Al-Falaki.
I'm Patel.
And welcome to
the Nail It podcast.
This is your place to lead better, live fully and laugh more. It's your blueprint to optimal performance. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Nail It. Hi, Bav, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm enjoying this wonderful heat wave that we're having in the summer, topping up the vitamin D, feeling energized.
Yeah, we are recording in August, by the way. Yeah, so if you're listening to it, depends on what time you're listening to it in the year, but it's been a really hot day today. I've been with the kids all day, and yeah, you're doing my dad thing.
Your dad thing as opposed to your dentistry thing.
Exactly. My other hat.
Yeah, which means you've had a much harder day.
Exactly. It's easier to go to work, definitely.
I used to say that. You know, when I used to have young children, you say, I come to work for a break.
You do. You have a day before your day, and then you have another day when you get home.
Yeah.
So yeah, the days are long.
Exactly. So listen, Bev, we have an amazing guest with us today, do we not?
I've been looking forward to talking to Manrina ever since I first met her at your boot camp.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fun day. Yeah.
So we have another legend with us today. That doesn't mean you're ancient, don't worry.
I'm surrounded by these Dentistry top 50 people. As I say, maybe one day.
These amazing legends. So welcome, Dr. Manrina Rhode. She is a multi-award-winning cosmetic dentist, owner of DRMR Clinic and Academy. And yes, was one of Dentistry's top 50, just to add another one of those awards. Hi, Manrina, welcome.
Hey, Manrina.
DRMR. It's my initials. DR.
Did I say DMDR? DRMR. Yeah.
My clinic gets called.
I get called anyway.
Yana, Manuela, Marina. Poor DRMR gets called Derma, Dreamer, Dr. Mister. So it's fine. We'll just add DM or DR to it.
It's Dr. MR, isn't it? That's it. That's how I always, whenever I read it, that's how I always read it. You see,
my initials. Yeah.
I've been called worse, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I came to your clinic a few years ago, and you hadn't been in that particular premises in Knightsbridge that long at that point, and I'd never met you personally, and I have to say I was bowled over, firstly by how beautiful and impressive your clinic looked, but also by your serenity, and there you were, a female dentist who, and I remember at the time you said it was always my dream to have this practice. So you had this bubbling excitement about it. And you even gave me this amazing eye contour gel, which let's not forget your cosmetic range. Yeah, fantastic. How does it feel years later to still own such an impressive high profile practice?
Oh, I love my clinic. I often tell people about how I feel when I walk in. I've been off the last few days. Took my mum and my partner to Mallorca for my mum's birthday, and I know that I'm going to walk back in to my clinic tomorrow morning and just feel wow. Just feel, it's been 3 years since we opened, but I still feel wowed. When I walk in the mornings, and I just love her. I think she's beautiful, and I'm so proud of her.
Oh, of her. I love that.
She's definitely
got a personality.
She has a personality of her own. She's a beast of a woman.
Yeah.
I love it. To take some to her. No, there we go.
You created that beast, though, right?
I did.
Yeah. And you say you've been there 3 years?
Yeah, we've been open 3 years now.
Yeah. And do you want to give us a bit of a background of where you come from and what made you create that clinic?
Yeah, so I, graduated in 2002, so whatever that was, 23 years ago, and I was really fortunate in my journey after VT. It's called DFT now, but VT is a training year that you do when you graduate. After VT, a job came available that there was the first luxury designer dental clinic opening and it was opening in Harvey Nicks, and they were looking for a dentist. They were looking for 2 dentists to come and work there, and they were looking for dentists that were more experienced than me. I had no experience. I just finishing my VT, but people kept messaging me saying, "Have you seen the job advert? It's fashion and it's dentistry. Manrina, it's your job. You have to apply for it." And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to apply for it, because if you don't try, then you don't know, right? If you don't try, the answer is no. And so there was no, there was barely internet at the time. The internet came about when I was at university. We used to do things by paper. So I printed off my CV on some pearlized paper. I spritzed it with perfume and put my photo in the corner and posted it off to Lundosler that were posting for this job. And I got shortlisted for interview, and it's this really vigorous interview process. I didn't know anything about cosmetic dentistry. We're not taught about cosmetic dentistry at dental school, and so I went to my tutors at university. Only graduated, less than a year ago, and said, "How do I learn about cosmetic dentistry?" They were like, "You need to read this book, Gallic Gorell's The Art and Science of Porcelain Veneers, and various other books." And so I was a member of the BDA at the time, and I went to their library and I got the books out. And I just sat and I read them front to back to teach myself cosmetic dentistry. And thank God I did. I'm so glad I did, because then I had a spoken interview with the owner of the company, Surinder Hundal, and his manager. I had a written exam on cosmetic dentistry, and I knew all the answers because I just studied them. And then I had to do a patient exam on the receptionist at the time, Lucy, who's still my friend now. And
He made you do that on your interview?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
I did all that in my interview, yeah. And I just graduated, so I had the right pro forma. I hadn't got any bad habits. So, intraoral exam, extraoral exam, checking the TMJ, checking the lymph nodes, doing all of that, explaining everything as I was going along, doing my oral cancer check, telling her about it, BPE, blah blah blah. So yeah, all the different stages went really well. I always liken that interview to America's Next Top Model. It was like an interview for America's Next Top Dentist. Like, you walked into Lundosler and there was all these model-esque dentists lining the waiting room, waiting to go through this interview process. And I was really, really fortunate.
He was on 10 Years Younger as well, right?
Then we did, yeah. So Surinder hired me then for Harvey Nicks, which was a great experience. And then eventually I moved to the head office, which was in Knightsbridge. And then a few years in, we got the TV show 10 Years Younger. So it used to come on Channel 4 at 8 p.m. on Thursday night, and by Friday morning there'd be 200 new patients trying to book in for smile makeovers.
Wow.
And there was only me and Surinder that were doing them. And so I was very much Surinder's protege. And again, I'm just so grateful to him for having the belief in me to give me the opportunity, and I made sure that he would never regret it. So I was in a surgery next to his, and so I would prep that, I'd see a new patient and then I'd present my plan to him, show him the photos, show him the plan. I'd get the patient in, I'd do the smile design, I'd present it to him, he'd approve it. I'd prep the teeth, and then I'd wait until he could pop in and check my preps. I'd do an impression, and then I'd wait for him to come in and check the impression. I'd do the temporaries. So he checked my work for years until he was like, "You got this now. I don't need to check your veneers anymore." And we were doing 10, 20 veneers a day, every day. I still am now, 23 years later. So 14,000 veneers in. But it all started there at Surinder's. In my 20s, we were working weekends. We were working till midnight. We couldn't possibly see the number of patients that wanted to come in for those smile makeovers. Surinder had a 6-month. Surinder at that time, 20 years ago, put his consultation fee up to £500, and still had a 6-month waiting list to see him for the people who were like, "I only want to see him." And anyone else who was like, "Okay, I'll see his protege," then they would see me. And so we were just super, super busy. It was a great time.
Wow. That's proper mentorship then, isn't it?
Proper mentorship. Yeah, it really was. Yeah, he really did. I think people say you were really lucky to be given that opportunity, and I think, well, maybe it was luck, maybe it was the fact that I went that extra mile with my CV. I got pearlized paper. I didn't even put it on normal paper. I spritzed it with perfume. Who even does that? Printed my photo. I went through so much effort for it. Who studies? Who goes contacts their tutor, finds out which textbooks to read, goes to the BDA, takes the books out and reads reads them front to back and memorizes them ready for the interview. You know, there was so much preparation that went into making sure that I got the job. And then once I got the job, it wasn't easy to keep it. You know, everyone in the country wanted my job at that point. And certainly, you know, all the people that graduated from our year, when I'd go to dental events, you know, I'd walk in and everyone would be like, Lund Osler, Lund, like chant Lund Osler as I walked in, because it'd be like, whoa, Manrina is working at Lund Osler. Like everyone had heard of it. It was the first kind of dental spa of its kind. And then obviously we went on to open the first clinic in Harrods. So we had Harvey Nichols and Harrods and the TV show, and there was just so much going on around that. And it meant excelling at all times. For Surinder, you know, it meant I didn't have much of a social life in my 20s. I cancelled on almost everyone that I know. You know, I'd say to people, yeah, I'm coming to meet you after work, but then a case would run late or a patient would book in, and work was my priority. And then I just stay at work till midnight and leave people waiting. But that was my focus at the time, and it meant that I got to keep the opportunity that I was given and have a really steep growth curve early in my career.
I mean, there are so many things we could pick up there, right?
Yeah.
The passion, the drive, the determination, the grit, right? Actually, I love your retaliation there about it wasn't luck. You could talk about luck, but actually it was damn hard work and dedication, and also probably a visualization in your brain that I am determined to succeed, but I'm then going to take the action to get there. But there's also the element of ambition, and this is something, you know, I've been guilty of, unhealthy ambition, and paid the consequences for it. So it's interesting what you said about, you know, that was my priority. I didn't even see my friends. I cancelled on them in my 20s. Now, I don't believe in regrets. I always think like you don't have regrets. Everything is a learning opportunity. But how much, would you do it all again? I guess that's the best.
Of course, without doubt.
My coach hat on, because I gave you a closed-ended question. Let's turn it into an open-ended question. What would you do differently?
Maybe I would have, well, I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? I think I waited a long time to open my clinic. I was an associate for 18 years before I opened my super clinic, and hence the excitement, Rana, when you came in, and hence still the excitement now when I walk in the morning, because I waited 20 years to actually build my super clinic, and I built her perfect. Like everything is perfect. The color, the gold of the hinges is the perfect gold. Like that's how much detail went into every single centimeter within that clinic. A lot of the clinic I just drew and had things made that didn't even exist, because it was the vision that I had, talking about visualization. And I think I could have done it all earlier, but even that, you know, talking about no regrets, I also don't believe in regrets. And I don't think I think of all the great opportunities and all the great things that I did because I wasn't a practice owner, that I wouldn't necessarily be able to do now, seeing as I can't even go on a 2-week holiday. I haven't been on a 2-week holiday since I opened. You know, I've been on a week, but nothing longer. So yeah, so I think it would be wrong to say I would have done it sooner. I think everything happens at the right time. So probably the answer, Rana, is what would I have done differently? Probably not a thing. Maybe the answer I normally give when people ask me this question, when, you know, in interviews, is social media has been so good for me. It's what, you know, when people say, oh, if Instagram closed down tomorrow, you know, oh, you know, how would that impact your life? And they're just being like all influencery about it. But literally my business is built on Instagram. It allowed me to build this beautiful clinic of my dreams and pay for it without any loans, because of the kind of clients that Instagram allows people around the world to find me, and allows them to find me, and allows me to showcase myself to them. So probably I've been very good with social media since the invention of it. You know, I've been on Instagram since 2011. I think it was invented in 2010. But maybe I could have doubled down. Maybe I could have done even more. Maybe I could have got some help with it rather than having done it all myself all this time. You know, hired a social media agency to help me grow it, and it would have maybe done even more for me.
But
if we do that from a different angle, then what's your biggest challenge then so far?
Greatest challenge in the
How
whole
did you come
23 years.
What was that?
So the greatest challenge within the last 23 years.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, would you say you ever had an element of burnout, or you maybe worked too hard? As you say, you cancelled on people, you missed events, and
I burn out every 3 months.
an element of regrets of that, or?
No, I know my cycle. This is the only way I know how to be. I burn out every 3 months and I have a holiday booked because I know that it's coming, it's coming. And the kind of week before I go away, it's really coming. And everyone's like, at the clinic the week before I went to Mallorca, my team were like, breathe, Manrina, breathe. And I was just, okay, let's carry on because it gets so much, but it happens every 3 months. And the thing about my personality, Bav, and my sister often reminds me of this, is that even if I didn't have the clinic, I was still like that. As an associate, I was still like that. If you don't give me things to do, I find things to do. If you don't give me a project, I start a new project. And so I don't know how to be any other way. It's how I live, it's how I survive, and it's how I thrive, and it's how I enjoy to be. I like going at 100 miles per hour, hitting like, oh, okay, it's a lot. Stop for a minute, and then I sit very still, and then now
Yeah,
I'm ready to go again.
that's it. Dominant personality.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked about this on TV interviews when I've been interviewed about stress, and I've tried to explain where, depending on your personality type and what drives you, you can't tar everybody with the same brush or give them the same advice. So you and I are very similar in that way. If someone just says to me, just slow down, just take a few breaths and slow down and calm down. I'd be like, I can't,
You're
I've
like,
got
why
to
don't you slow down?
mile a minute. So, for example, like my stress relief is exercising like crazy, and I'll be quite happy doing 3 hours of working out, and that's my stress relief as opposed to just sit still. So,
Mm.
like you, if I wasn't doing one thing, I would always find something to do. The
Yeah.
difference is obviously burn out. You say you burn out everything, which is hardly healthy, right? I mean, it's this massive dip, dip, dip. For me, I became chronically ill, and that
Mm.
it's like it was a final wake up call for, if you don't sort this out, you're on pills for the rest of your life. You're living in a bungalow because you can't get up the stairs, you can barely walk, blah 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 blah. So eventually it becomes, okay, this isn't sustainable, which in many ways is when Nail It was born, about, okay, how can we sustain high performance, in other words, optimal performance. So what has to happen for you? I mean, I imagine it's a case of you have your week off and suddenly you don't recover, and then you start to realize, okay, maybe I need to change something. But that doesn't mean you have to stop. It just means you need to adopt the Nail It
Yeah,
method.
if I'm that person, that's the thing. Because some people, I guess, I've been like this as long as I
No.
can remember. This is my personality type, and so even in my 20s, I was like this. So, and now I'm in my 40s. Like now I'm 46. So, maybe I will at some point find that I don't recover after a break, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll be like this in my 70s and I'll still, because I know people who are like this still, they're still going, look at Chris Barrow or look at, my mum or, people like that. They're in their 70s and they're still just full steam and they're all right. They
Well,
haven't recovered
I'll tell you
chronically.
another thing why. It's because you are also someone who bubbles with joy,
Mm. I
right?
wake up happy every day.
You're not steamrolling with high levels of stress. So yeah, you're working really hard, you push yourselves to the limit, and then it's like, okay, I need a rest, but you're still happy with it, which is
Yeah, we laugh a lot at work. Like our patients are always like, "Why are you guys always laughing?" Like me and my team. I don't know. We tell a lot of jokes and have a laugh.
and that is actually one of the secrets, is to have
Mm.
that level of happiness. You balance that happiness, productivity, and then actually the two blend together in harmony and feed each other even more. So I have a feeling you will be going till you're 70, as long as you maintain this sense of peace and joy that bubbles within you. And I also get the impression from you is that you're developed enough that your happiness isn't fed by external circumstances.
Oh yeah.
There's something that's already bubbly inside you, right? And actually,
Yeah.
when you work on that and you can produce that level of joy, that is one of your secrets.
Yeah. And haven't you launched like courses and things now as well? So you're not only doing the clinics, you're not
I know,
only,
isn't it? That's the
you've
thing,
got so
right?
many hats.
Yeah, you can't do one thing. I launched my veneer course when I was an associate. There was just a lot of call for it on Instagram, like dentists messaging saying, "Oh, do you run a veneer course?" They could see how many veneers I was doing, and I was posting about it. So I started that back then. I launched my skincare line and my first course as an associate, and then with the clinic, then launched the clinic, and then I guess the clinic stabilized. I guess that was such a big project, and then I was like, okay, now I need to grow the
You have to
academy.
find something else to do. Yeah.
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 I was like, do I open another clinic or do I grow the academy? Let's work on the academy for a second.
Good.
And then I guess there was a call for this mentorship. You know, it's really quite in fashion at the moment to have a mentor and to be supported. And people are appreciating the value of that. And so again, you know, there were these big mentorship programs coming out where people were kind of charging like £50,000 to mentor these dentists to become cosmetic dentists or facial estheticians or whatever it is that they wanted to do. And I was like, that's a lot of money that they're charging these people to mentor them. Like, what if we provided a group mentorship program where it wouldn't have to be that expensive? You know, my mentorship program is £250 a month, but it means that we can have, you know, a good number of people within the program, and then they have group access. They can ask any question they like. They can ask it anonymously, or they can ask it as themselves, and I will answer it for them, you know, within the next few hours. Like, I just grab my phone and answer it, send them a video, send them an answer, send them my response, and they get these group open mic calls with me twice a month where we either get a guest speaker in, or I'll talk about whatever they want to talk about. So they have, like, you know, constant access to me, but as a group in a more affordable way. And I work with them on building their personal brand, providing a 5-star service, and support them in being you know, better cosmetic dentists, or within cosmetic dentistry, help them treatment plan their patients. So yeah, that's been great. And then through that, we've built out our online portal within the academy, and with online courses. There's this treatment within dentistry called gum fillers. Actually, I wonder what you think about them, Rana, as a periodontist. I brought
Phillips. I heard of that.
I brought the treatment to the UK, so there's
Wow.
very few dentists that do them. I brought it here from America. I learned it in America about 8 years ago, and there is no course to learn them. I went on this in-person course in America and learned, but there's no other work. There's no one else teaching them. So there's, you know, been a lot of people contacting us saying, "Can you teach us then?" So, you know, and it's interesting how these things come about. You know, the veneer course came about from people asking for it. The mentorship program came about from people asking for it, and then obviously the gum filler course. So the online platform's ready to launch, taking my in-person veneer course online, so they could do it. I still want to keep the in-person because I enjoy that, but then also the gum filler course and courses to support people in their marketing presence and social media, because dentists are so bad at that, and just all the things that I know that I'd love to share. I really enjoy sharing my wisdoms. It's one of my something that really gives me a lot of joy, is teaching and sharing. So it gives me
So you're
you know,
sort of new age version of passing back what Surinder did for you, but
I
you're
think
doing it
so.
for multiple people
I
at
hope
the same
so.
time using modern technology.
I like that you've just
Yeah,
said
so
that.
it's full circle.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I would like to think so.
But I mean, that's it, though, isn't it? You know, you were mentored by somebody so brilliant and so early on in your career that it has more than likely molded you to also recognize the importance of mentorship and being mentored, just how relevant and important that is.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's interesting actually, like in my mentorship program, that more than half of my mentees are older than me. I thought when I launched it, it would be all these young dentists who would come, and they don't seem to see the value as much as the older dentists who were like, oh yeah, like to learn how she's done it, and then they've joined, and you know, they've been with me that's been running for a year now. So yeah.
So how can they join? Like, is there a start and a finish, or can people just join at any
It's
point?
jump in, jump out. So yeah, you join, it's £250 a month. And then whenever, you know, some people, I think one or two have taken the month of August off. They're like, I'm away for August. They pause their membership. They'll come back in September. And it's literally jump in, jump out. For as long as you want me, you want access to me, you become part of it. And if you don't want to, but we've had a good number of them there from the beginning. It launched on the 1st of September last year. And there's a good number that they've just stayed, and I don't expect them to stay forever, but if they do stay forever, then great. I'm very happy to be there, and glad that I can provide value.
So when I think of like everything we teach in personal development, and so I'm just in the process of doing like the final edits. The editor keeps sending the book back to me. and on Nail It, and we talk about Maslow's triangle. So we talk about, you know, different people's levels and the hierarchy of needs. And what came to mind there when you talked about how, you know, you love teaching and you're at this point where you love giving back, and this is what gives you joy. That's definitely like the very top peak of that triangle, which is about transcendence. And that's when you really master leadership, you know, because it's when it goes beyond you, and being able to give back to other people. And that's where energy flows, and it comes in you and it comes out of you, and then it becomes effervescent, which is what your energy so often is.
Oh, thank you.
So we got some questions for you, because I forgot to ask you right at the beginning.
Yes.
What is your favorite quote?
You know what? I knew that you were going to ask me, and so I got one ready for you. Okay, so I chose Mark Twain because I thought he's so famous with his quotes. But the secret of getting ahead is getting started, is the quote. And the reason for the quote is because I feel like too many people procrastinate. Like they'll sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to do veneers one day. I want to do veneers, but they don't actually, you know, want to learn them because actually they're a bit scared of actually doing veneers, and what if they fall off or something happens? Or I'm going to start an Instagram page, but then they don't actually post anything because what if other people don't like it or whatever? And then, you know, they end up having these things in their life that they keep saying that they want to do, but they don't actually do them. And what I'm very good at is just having an idea and doing it. You know, like my veneer course, I literally decided one day, they got another message on Instagram with a dentist saying, do you run a course teaching this? And then thought, you know what, I'm going to run a course. Went on to online, said, how do you create a website? They said, oh, you can go into GoDaddy and it will guide you through it. Went great, bought a domain from GoDaddy, spent the next 5 hours building the website, built the course, put it on Instagram, said, here you go, here's a veneer course, I'm launching my veneer course, here's the link to book it, and it sold out almost immediately. You know, and it was an afternoon. I decided at lunchtime, and by the evening the course was out and it was launched and it was sold out. You know, so I don't think it sold out that day, but I think it sold out that week. And so that's how I run my life. And that's how I get so much done. And my partner always gets amazed by it because he loves to deep dive into everything. You know, I moved house this week. Moved into my new house today, and was sorting out the content insurance. Went online, went on Money Supermarket, chose an insurance, and within 10 minutes I had our contents insurance sorted and it was done. And he was like, it just amazes me, Manrina, that would have taken me a week, you know, deep diving into it, choosing the right one, and blah blah blah. So I think, you know, the key is just to get started.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, I do exactly the same thing. I say I'm going to do something, next thing it's done. People do procrastinate. A lot of it is fear of failure, fear of success, not having all the answers. So there's a statistic there which we say that actually you only need 70% to get to the knowledge to get started. And so often people think they have to have everything.
That's good. There's a number. I didn't know there was a number. So it's 70%. Okay.
Think that you have to have everything, and it stops them from actually going. And you're right. And there are different there are wonderful other quotes that are very similar to that, and it doesn't matter how fast you go as long as you keep going.
That's the thing. I think even the 70% feels really high to me. If you think about something like building your own clinic, I had no idea how to build a squat, but all I had to do was decide I was going to and start. Okay, what do I need? Okay, the first thing I need is a location. Let me hire someone to help me find a location. Okay, I found a location. Now what do I need? Now I need to know whether you can build a squat here. Okay, let me find a builder, ask friends for recommendation of a builder to see if, you know, and then I didn't know anything, but I just kept thinking, just kept moving. Taking a baby step of moving, and then eventually the clinic was there, you know.
This is often
you can get paralysis by analysis, right? That's the other saying.
Yeah, again, it's that thing that lodges you in procrastination. I mean, and again, that's where people get coaches, right? That's where they need a coach to get through their limiting beliefs and to kind of to push them to say just do it, because unfortunately people such as yourself, and I know I'm in that category, can find it quite difficult to deal with people who just take no action because we just don't understand it.
Why are you doing it? Let me just do it for you. Come here. What do you want? You want a location? You want a website? Here, I'll find a domain and build it for you.
It's fine to do that. It's fine to do that. But I think you do need to have an element of, you've got to look at what is the worst case scenario. If this was to fail, would I survive this? Okay. So I think you do need to have a look at it from that point of view as well. For example, someone buying a practice, if they were to lose all that money of whatever it takes to put in and they could survive that, then great, carry on. But if it's going to be to their detriment and it's going to be something they would, they can't bounce back from, then it's something that they've got to be measured. It's got to be a measured risk.
You see, you can tell what personality type Bhavin has, can't you?
Yeah.
It's 2 against 1 here, Bhav. See,
I know. I'm surrounded by D's. I'm surrounded by D's in the disc personality.
Disc personalities. Like, my argument back to you about that would just be, but if you're going to believe that you could fail, you're much more likely to fail. You need to shift your beliefs that that will never happen.
Yeah, I understand that. But I'm just for the viewers, for the listeners, viewers. I just want to say we are a measured team. We have to look at it from both a measured point of view. That's what I'm saying. We're not reckless. Let's put it that. We're not reckless.
Podcast, also known as Pick on Bhavin. So
exactly. I know. Especially you two. God.
Oh, exactly. So I keep mentioning Naila. Manri, did you have a chance to have a look at the 6 pillars?
Yes, I had a look. Am I supposed to remember them?
Well,
there's a test now. Yeah, there's a test. Yeah.
I mean,
close your eyes and tell us all 6.
Very good at like researching things before I go. I went to a friend's house for the weekend, and I listened to one of her podcasts before I went, just so that I was like prepared for the visit. And she was like, "You're so funny, Manriina. You don't need to do it. Like, why would you do that?" And I was like, "That's my personality." I was like, "Oh, it's better the weekend. I'll listen to your podcast and talk to you about what you said."
Oh, bless you. So so I could give you all 38 components, but I won't. So obviously we're talking optimal performance. So we've got 6 key pillars, and then that all subdivides into the rest. So you've got needs, attitude, integrity, limitless, intuition, and tangibility. So making it happen. What do you think is the most important?
Oh, of all the pillars.
What speaks to you the most?
Maybe limitless.
I knew you were going to say that.
Interesting.
I was going to put the words in your mouth, mainly because
it's limitless.
It's limitless, only because everything you've just said about being fearless, right? About just get rid of the procrastination, get rid of the beliefs, and just go for it. Be fearless. I love that. See, I knew she was going to say that, Bav.
Yeah.
She's a fearless legend.
She does look. She is limitless. She's a living embodiment of that pillar.
So limitless, the subsystem that makes it up, it's the boundless beliefs method. So it's about what is your belief in the first place, which, to be honest, until you become more conscious, most of the time you don't even realize, because you usually, most people will walk through life pretty much with blinkers on, so they don't actually understand why they behave they do, or what beliefs trigger what behaviors or what reactions. So it's belief, it's about empowering it, it's about shining a light on it. So actually really challenging yourself, like, how true is it, or is this something from my past that I no longer want to believe? And then it's all about habit change. So needing to, because your beliefs are your habits as well. So how you think. So needing to really instill new beliefs. So you change the habit of being you. And then combined with your energy, which yours is amazing. So what's your energy behind it? Being fearless and ensuring you overcome stress, so stress-free. So yeah, amazing. Wow, it's been a whirlwind. I love that. Thank you so much.
It's telling me.
Now, if people want to get hold of you, obviously it's your Instagram handle, I presume, because
you're Manrina Rhode.
Media person.
Manrina Rhode.
DRMR.
DRMR goes to DRMR Clinic, DRMR Skin, DRMR Academy. But yeah, to be fair, any of those Instagram pages. But yeah, my main one's Dr. Manrina Rhode. Our website is drmr.co.uk.
Yeah. Perfect.
You were on Dentistry Cribs as well, right?
Yes, my clinic's on Cribs.
We can watch that
my beauty.
Yeah.
Little tour.
Brilliant. So anyone, we cannot recommend, like, if you've just listened or watched this interview, your energy will be sky high. So can you imagine being on a call with Manrina twice a month to get a little bit more of that energy? It will be amazing. Thank you so much for being our guest today, and good luck with the house. Move.
Thank you. So exciting.
Probably she just moved in today. That's ridiculous.
I know. I love
Imagine
that.
furniture.
There's no way I'd be doing a podcast on the day I moved into my house. I'll be organising the boxes and packing them.
I've done them.
Of course you have.
Oh,
Of course.
She is beyond, she's not Superwoman, she's Wonder Woman.
Cheers.
Oh, I
Cheers.
do like Wonder
She's
Woman.
inspiration.
Exactly. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Such a pleasure to have you. So that's it for today, Bav. Another episode of Nail It, Lead Better. Can you remember it? You can't remember
Live
it.
fully, laugh more. And I actually think Manriina literally embodies all three of those things.
Oh,
She
thank you.
absolutely does. Thank you again. All
She
right.
does.
Bye for
Thanks,
now.
Marina.
Again.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Nail It podcast. We would love it if you would leave us a 5-star review. And if you'd like to feature as one of our guests or you're ready to nail it, then check out our events, programs and educational courses by visiting nailitindentistry.com.